Welcome back. We now have the candidates for City Council District 1 with us, Democrat Connie Risch and Republican Mark Brockman. Let's begin with an opening statement from each of you. Connie, we'll start with you.
Well, good evening. My name is Connie Risch, and I am currently serving Connersville City Council District 1, and I thoroughly enjoy that. I am married to Jamie Durham, just recently married this summer. I have one son, and he has two sons, grown sons. I am an MRI tech, CT tech, X-ray tech at Whitewater Valley Medical Center, and I am currently seeking re-election.
All right, thank you very much. Mark?
Hi, I'm Mark Brockman, and I've been involved in the political atmosphere and scene here in the county and the city for a good while. I'm excited to be back in town and interested very much in becoming part of the decision-making process at the city level. I've lived here most of my life. My wife has lived here all her life. Raised two daughters. I've gone to college so long I thought I was teaching it. In fact, I've even taught some college classes. So I have a degree in education and a degree in mechanical engineering. I've spent the last 25 years or so working for Ford or Visteon, doing plant engineering type work, which requires financial analysis to make sure we're using the money right and doing what needs to be done. And I like to apply those skills to the city government and help us through the future. I think it's going to be pretty important. We have a lot of issues, not unlike a lot of communities, but we have some special issues, and I feel like I need help.
All right, thank you very much. So our first question, and we're going to start with you, Connie. Indiana state law permits a city to impose a public safety income tax of 1.5%. The law also requires the Loit and Coit tax, which is already in place locally. This would raise the local income tax to around 4%. Would you vote for passage of a public safety tax, and why?
Well, obviously the best answer, the popular answer is no. No one wants to pay more taxes, me included. However, by saying that, there's not enough safety. I mean, we have to look at the fact that we are down in our numbers, in our first responders. So our safety, does have to come first. Unfortunately, I've had the pleasure of looking at the payroll, and so it is very costly. But I think we do need to increase our numbers for our city. And that, we have to make smart decisions, though, and smart choices to get there. It's been brought up before, and obviously we would look at it if it did get brought up. But I think during the financial emergency, by cutting the overtime, we did save a lot. And some of those decisions were good, and I think we need to continue on the lines of that. But no, I don't want to pay taxes, any more taxes than what we're doing. So.
All right, thank you very much. Mark?
I'm not in favor of more taxes. I think we need to live within our means. I think you've seen my performance with the county, and we just have to make sure that we don't spend more than we take in. And we just have to use our money as best we can. We'll have to determine how much needs to go toward public safety and some other things. We'll have to cut and shift and make things work. And public safety is not one that we can slight at all. So I'm not in favor of more tax.
All right, thank you very much.
Would I vote for it if I were, if they can convince me, but we'll have to go through a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of things that even returning council members will be looking at the budget-wise, because things change all the time. So we're going to look at it.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to move on to our next question. Mark, we'll start with you on this one. Recently, the city approved the purchase of property off Veterans Memorial Drive to move the Babe Ruth complex. Do you support this plan? Why or why not?
Yes, I do support it, and not necessarily only to move the Babe Ruth complex, but what it can do for the community as far as other sports activities and opening up access to the river, getting money from other grants to help make, or from other sources like grants that we're not going to get staying where we are. And that's the money that we're using to buy the land is not being used at this point in time. It'd be a good use for it. And I think that ties into a lot of things for the future of Connersville. We need to improve the quality of life, and I think it'd make a great complex, a great place to go, and there are lots of stuff that can grow from that. Activities, river walks. I think it's a win-win-win situation, and certainly good use for that money because it's not doing anything now.
Okay, thank you.
And it is very restricted, so there's only certain things we can spend it for, so I think it's a good use then.
Thank you very much. Connie?
Well, obviously, I actually was one of the 2 votes for no on that issue. But as was mentioned earlier, I believe it's sort of a either a 2 or 3 faceted question. First of all, I would be in favor of the trail, the Riverwalk, and I have faith in Anna Duncan. She's done many great things. However, I had a lot of questions, and they just didn't really get answered, I guess, to my satisfaction. I do see the vision there, and I think that will be great, and I am definitely in favor of that as a quality of life issue. As far as the baseball fields, I think that the volunteers of the Babe Ruth organization was downplayed. I don't think they really got the credit that they deserved. They do make those fields very nice, and as far as people coming here, I think that the tournaments they've been successful. They do clean it up very well. I mean, it is what it is. There isn't a lot of parking. We don't have, the hotels and the eateries that other places do, but they are successful for our town. And it isn't a multi-million-dollar field, no doubt, but it has served decades, and I love baseball as much as anybody. My son's family couldn't love baseball anymore. And then the third facet would be the Smalley's Lake issue, and that area is a very kind of a disappointment. I think we do need to. We always tout about it, but we really didn't put the money where our mouth was on that one. We missed the mark a little bit, and I think that needs to be revamped a little bit.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to have you answer the next question first. As a member of the City Council, how would you improve the quality of life in Connersville?
Well, sort of going on what we just talked about. Obviously, cleaning up our town, and we all talk about that, and there's been groups, and I haven't actually got to participate, but I would love to, and I really enjoy the trail up north, and I would like to see more of that around Connersville. I would like to see us do more than just youth sports. We do have the music for the older generations, and it just doesn't seem like that the middle generation has a whole lot to do. And I don't know the answer. I'm not into tourism. I don't have that degree, but we have a lot of people that have good ideas, and we need people with ideas to come forward. This is our town. Everyone needs to speak, and maybe we can just make it better.
All right, thank you, Mark.
To improve the quality of life in this community. I, as a council member, would encourage education. That opens the doors to people so much, and I just don't think the respect for education is as high as it could be. It needs to start at home, and that will open a lot of doors for people, make your life much more enjoyable. You'll be able to make choices and do things you want to do. We definitely need to clean up the city, and we need to have enforceable ordinances that will work toward that end. It's not going to be easy. We have ordinances now. Can we enforce them? How do we get it done? I don't know, but we've got to work toward that the cleaning up Connersville, and that will make people want to be here, and it will improve our lives.
Okay, thank you very much. You're going to start with the next question. What can be done to make Connersville more attractive to potential employers?
Well, I think that pretty well answered that with the last question. And I think it's pretty much there. We need to encourage education and the respect for education so people can help themselves. We need to clean up the town, and pretty much answered that in the last question. But that's it. That's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you very much. Connie?
I'm going to steal your word. I think a lot of it is respect. I think we need to respect our town, and going back to the cleaning up, but I think probably on a multifaceted level, getting rid of the drug problem and cleaning up the town of the drugs. Our workforce has to be drug-free. We have a lot of employers that can't even hire Connersville people because they can't pass drug tests. And I think the drug problem leads to a lot of the vandalism and a lot of the mischief that goes on, which just defers people from putting money into the city. It's hard to put money into your home. It's hard, period. But just with all the vandalism and everything, it's hard to do that. And then it goes back to our first responders. We don't have enough police to maybe take care of all that. And then we've got to. I think we need to seek out some way of using these abandoned buildings, getting someone to use them, and that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to start with you on this last question. Other cities have reduced their costs by combining services such as EMS and fire. What are your thoughts on this idea?
Well, the city and county run the EMS, so that would have to be a definite big discussion. I know that whole issue about city-county government in general. At one time we were a bigger city, and I don't know if that would put us in the line for, the whole 9 yards as far as city-county government. But I know that all of our firefighters are EMTs, and I know that a lot of people have their opinions on seeing a fire truck run on a car wreck or, on medical runs. But let me tell you, if it's you or your family, you want the first person that can get there to get there. So, I have my druthers about that one. I think it would have to be looked at. Of course, the structure, the building, what it would do to the actual manpower and the current jobs would all have to be decided. I think that the quality of people are there, but I think it would have to be a whole bigger issue.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark.
The combining of services should probably be looked at, and it goes beyond just that area. It should be anything that we can do to lower the cost and improve the quality for the city with regard to any of the services. And I know we've looked at the first aid, combining it with the fire department for a while, and there are issues with that. But then there are other things that we've done with the county that have worked well, and we need to continue to examine other opportunities and the opportunities and continue to lower cost and improve services.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we would now like to give you an opportunity to have a closing statement. Mark, we'll start with you.
I have lived this community and have seen it and loved it and moved away and come back. I like it here. I'm going to stay here. I've had a good life because I took advantage of some opportunities that were available to me. I like to make those opportunities available to other people so they can make choices and do things. I like to work on the drug problem, but that's because of some other issues. The drug problem just didn't happen. It's developed. We need to work on helping that problem go away, or at least minimize it. I'm sure that the problems are everywhere, but we seem to have a huge problem with it, probably because of inactivity, not enough jobs. We're working on that. Make it a nice place to live. People will want to be here. It'll take care of a lot of issues. Financially, we need to stay with the program that's there now, and we'll develop around that and see what we can do as money changes and things change. We'll work on that. But in the past, I've worked on budget committees. I've in churches and schools and businesses. I've got a lot of experience with solving problems, and that takes financial analysis to determine the best method to solve some problems. And I'm ready to put those skills to work for the taxpayers. I appreciate your support this fall. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Connie.
Well, I've been a lifelong resident of Connorsville, and I have been present and accountable during the last almost 4 years on City Council. I enjoy getting phone calls from citizens, and because I'm a person that likes to help people through a process and see something from beginning to end, whether they're in my district or not, and most of the time they're actually not. And so however I can do that, I'd like to continue doing that. I would like to see more people get out and vote. We have probably less than 30% people voting in our town, and I know that there's good people out there with good ideas that need to stand up and voice their vote, and I appreciate your vote for me.
All right, thank you very much. Next up, we have the candidates for the office of City Council District 2.